I have a sort of emotional tie to these old boats, and maybe it's a sort of financial folly because timber's very expensive. Well, when I left school, my parents wanted me to go to university and study engineering, but I wanted to buy a motorbike. My parents were opposed to the idea. However, I was quite stubborn, and I bought my motorbike, and they said, well, you must find your own way to educate yourself. So I went and got a job with Nedbank, and in 1969 I was appointed a bank manager at the age of 25. And I stayed there for 5 or 6 years and then decided, look, I must now indulge my passion. And I actually borrowed some money from the bank to buy machinery for this very boat. I have operated a launch company for the past 50 years under the trade name Cersei Launches, which was the name of my first boat with which I started the operation in 1972, which is right behind me here. It's been out of the water for 20 years now, but I do hope within the next 6 to 9 months to get it back in the water. She's a air sea rescue launch built in 1943 by the Miami Shipyards Corporation. These particular boats were built by the hundred and used all over the world by various navies, including the Russian Navy. Their main purpose was air sea rescue. Before the age of helicopters, when an aircraft went down, the valuable thing to retrieve was the crew. These boats were very fast, and 20 of these craft, identical craft, were given to South African Air Force under lease lend. They were shipped out here and put into service all around the coast. And at the end of the war, these boats weren't really required to that extent. At the same time, the destiny of these boats as rescue craft was sounded by the advent of helicopters. And most of them were sold off to private owners, like myself. This one I bought in 1968. And the inspiration which I had for this was an identical one of the earlier crash boats which were sold off to private interests in Cork Bay, where I grew up. And it belonged to a chap who did very well taking people off the train to Seal Island in False Bay. And as a small boy, I hung around the boat a lot, and I looked at the money being collected and thought, gee, this is more than my father earns in a month. This might be a good thing to do. So on that whim, I started operating trips to a small island just outside Hout Bay. They are magnificent boats, and they're held by leading naval architects who wrote books about these very boats and said that they were the very best planing hulls, the very best high-speed hull to come out of World War II anywhere. It's a wooden boat. Virtually no wooden boats are built anywhere because of the skills required. What we're doing now is all the decks and superstructure. What was the wheelhouse is virtually all gone, and we're replacing the decks from stem to stern and altering the configuration slightly to make it somewhat more friendly to passengers. Sheltered cabins for people to keep out of the weather, seating, lots of seating, additional toilets, that sort of thing. I think most people regard this as a touch of lunacy, which I sometimes suspect myself.